I'm leaning towards no. Maybe it might increase it in the short term, like maybe right after you're done playing the game. But overall, I'd say not really, no.
I don't think so, and I think that a good testament to that is kind of the generation that we grew up with. You know, I grew up playing shoot 'em up video games. I grew up playing racing games, and I'm not tempted at all. I've never even been in a fist fight. I'm not tempted to go shoot up a bunch of people that I don't know or go street racing. But I think that we've had violent media for hundreds of years, whether it be through books or action movies. And I think that this is just a new media outlet, and people are getting used to it, but it's really the same old thing.
I don't really think it increases violent behavior any more than, violent behavior would statistically be in society. Like, kids who would normally be violent are going to be violent, and they're obviously going to play violent video games, but, plenty of non-violent kids play violent video games and aren't affected negatively by them.
I believe that depending on the environment that one child is in or person is in, that will depend on their violent attitudes. Granted, some younger kids with video games and violence, they don't know the difference between, or they get sucked into the fake world of make-believe compared to real life, and that line kind of changes, and they can't figure out where that actual line divides.
I'd say it'll stay about the same. Hopefully people will continue to be able to separate fantasy from reality.
As long as people are able to differentiate it as a media outlet and not as a real life thing, if it were to somehow become so realistic that you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between it and reality, which is something I really don't see happening in the future or in the near future, that might become problematic. But as long as you're able to look at something as, this is something I do apart from my real life, I think that it shouldn't become a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think some regulation on that is probably healthy. It's, for young people to be exposed to that stuff, like, it won't necessarily make them violent, but perhaps, they're going to see things that aren't necessarily appropriate for their age range.
I think the regulations in place are already good enough. That's up to individual stores whether or not their employees are actually following the rules. So maybe there could be closer regulations on that, but I don't see it really being a problem.
Not really. I mean, they've already tried, setting age restrictions and all this jazz, but in reality, it's not going to change too much. Parents will still buy it for their kids, or, they'll still play it at a friend's house or something like that. So there's no really way in stopping them. It's more of the education part. You got to teach them the difference between reality and just a video game.